Most people think the brain avoids pain and seeks pleasure. Nietzsche thought the opposite. He believed the human brain secretly craves difficulty, but only when it is trained to desire it. And here's the unsettling question. If your brain truly hates hard things, why do you feel most alive after doing them? That tension is not an accident. It's the core of your psychology. And Nietzsche understood it long before neuroscience had a name for dopamine. We live in a time where comfort is abundant, but meaning is rare. Technology has eliminated friction from our lives. Food arrives instantly, entertainment never ends, distraction is infinite, yet anxiety, emptiness, and lack of motivation are everywhere. The modern mind feels tired before it even begins. Nietzsche would say this is not because life is too hard, but because it has become too easy. Most people misunderstand Nietzsche as a philosopher of darkness or pessimism, but at his core, he was obsessed with vitality, with how to make a human being feel powerful, alive, and internally driven. His question was simple and terrifying. Why do some people grow stronger through struggle while others collapse under it? To answer that, Nietzsche introduced an idea that reshapes how we understand motivation itself. He called it the will to power. Not power over others, but power over oneself. The drive to expand, overcome resistance, and transform limitation into strength. Nietzsche believed the brain does not grow through comfort, it grows through resistance. And when resistance disappears, the mind turns against itself. Think about it. The moments you remember most clearly in your life are not the easy ones. They are the moments when you were tested, when something demanded more from you than you thought you had. Hard conversations, physical exhaustion, emotional risk, fear faced voluntarily. Those moments hurt, yet they leave a strange aftertaste. Pride, clarity, identity. Nietzsche saw this as evidence of something deeper. Pain is not the enemy of motivation. Meaningless pain is. The brain does not crave ease, it craves significance. This is where modern psychology quietly confirms Nietzsche. Dopamine is not released by pleasure alone. It is released by pursuit, by effort toward a goal that feels meaningful. When everything is easy, dopamine collapses. The brain becomes bored, restless, and anxious. It begins to crave stimulation, not achievement. Nietzsche warned about this exact type of human. He called him the last man, a person who avoids discomfort at all costs, seeks safety above growth, and confuses happiness with numbness. The last man does not suffer deeply, but he also never becomes anything. Now here is the critical shift Nietzsche demands. Stop asking how to avoid hard things. Ask how to make your brain desire them. Nietzsche believed desire is not fixed, it is trained. Your brain learns what to crave based on what you repeatedly associate with meaning, identity, and self-respect. If you consistently associate comfort with relief, your brain will chase comfort. If you associate difficulty with pride, expansion, and self-overcoming, your brain will begin to crave difficulty. This is not positive thinking. It is conditioning at the level of identity. Nietzsche called this self-overcoming, the act of using resistance as fuel rather than friction, not fighting pain blindly, but reinterpreting it, turning hardship into proof of strength rather than evidence of weakness. Ask yourself this uncomfortable question. When something feels hard, what story do you tell yourself about it? Do you think, this is unfair? Or do you think, this is shaping me? The story changes everything. Nietzsche believed humans suffer not because life is cruel, but because they interpret struggle as meaningless. Once struggle gains meaning, it transforms. Pain becomes information. Resistance becomes training. Fear becomes a signal of growth. This is why Nietzsche admired figures like warriors, artists, and creators, people who willingly placed themselves in difficulty, not because they enjoyed pain, but because they understood its function. Consider a simple mental experiment. Imagine two people lifting the same heavy weight. One is forced to lift it, the other chooses to lift it as training. The physical pain is identical, but the psychological experience is completely different. One feels oppressed, the other feels empowered. Nietzsche would say the difference is interpretation, and interpretation shapes desire. The brain begins to crave what reinforces identity. If you see yourself as someone who overcomes, difficulty becomes confirmation. Each hard task whispers, this is who you are. This is also why Nietzsche rejected comfort morality, the idea that a good life is a painless one. He believed comfort weakens the spirit by removing the need for self-command. Without resistance, the will decays, and when the will decays, the mind searches for substitutes, distraction, resentment, nihilism. Look around today. Endless scrolling, constant outrage, chronic fatigue without physical effort. Nietzsche predicted this psychological collapse more than a century ago. So how do you reverse it? Nietzsche's most radical idea was amor fati, love of fate. Not passive acceptance, but active embrace. To look at everything difficult in your life and say, I want this, I choose this, I will use this. This single shift rewires the brain. When you stop seeing hardship as an interruption and start seeing it as the path, resistance loses its power to demotivate you. Notice how elite athletes train. They don't wait to feel motivated. They associate pain with progress so deeply that discomfort becomes desirable. Nietzsche believed this principle applies to thinking, creating, working, and becoming. Your brain is not lazy, it is economical. It avoids what feels pointless. When you give hard things a reason, a narrative of growth, the brain follows. But Nietzsche goes further. He believed comfort addiction creates weak values. When a person cannot endure discomfort, they begin to moralize weakness. They call discipline oppression. They call ambition greed. They call strength toxicity. This is not philosophy, it is psychological defense. Nietzsche called it ressentiment, the transformation of inability into moral superiority. Ask yourself honestly, are there hard things you secretly resent because they expose your potential? Things you criticize not because they are wrong, but because they demand more than you're giving? Nietzsche would say that growth begins the moment you stop protecting your excuses. The brain craves hard things when hard things become the path to self-respect, when effort becomes the currency of identity. This is why voluntary difficulty is so powerful. Cold exposure, physical training, deep work, honest self-examination. These practices train the nervous system to associate discomfort with control rather than threat. You are teaching your brain a new equation. Discomfort equals agency, and agency is addictive. Nietzsche believed the highest human is not the happiest, but the strongest, the one who can say yes to life in its entirety, including pain, not because pain is good, but because it is necessary for becoming. So the next time you feel resistance to working, to training, to confronting something uncomfortable, don't ask how to eliminate it. Ask a better question. Who do I become if I do this anyway? Because in Nietzsche's world, the brain does not crave what feels easy. It craves what makes it powerful. And the moment you understand that, hard things stop feeling like obstacles and start feeling like invitations, not to suffer, but to become.